그 상태에서 외교관들이 유리하다고 하고 있는데 물리적으로 한국은 한자일까이며 그리고 한국이 중국에 돈이 안 된다고 하는 분담이 있다는 상황에서 이 모든 것이 변화된다고 예측하고 있습니다. 지금 현재 북한이 아주 하고 있는데 러시아 정부에 대표가지고 러시아에 주입하고 여러 상황이 북한에 좀 이런 상황이지만 우크라이나 전쟁이 끝나고 여러 가지 상황이 변화하면서 다시 이렇게 우호적인 관계로 전환될 거라고 예측하고 있고 한국 국민들은 한국에 한 영역을 벌리고 나가야 된다는 대략적인 이러한 의지의 발표를 하고 있습니다. 그리고 두 번째 나빈더 이렇게 되는데 나빈더 신이라고 명란에서 들어와서는 나빈더 신 박사님이 만납니다. 나빈더 신 박사님은 지금 남북한이 경직되는 관계가 미국이 그 대전략에 따라서 움직이다 보니까 대화의 여지가 없고 이렇게 해서는 돌파구를 마련하지 못한다. 한국이 현 상황이 여러 가지로 안 좋다. 인구도 감소하고 있고 경제도 침체하고 있고 전쟁은 이렇게 빠져나가고 있고 기술, 경제 모든 방면에서 안 좋은 상황으로 가고 있다. 정말 쉽지 않은 지금 현 상황에서 과감한 남북 정책이 필요하다. 그래서 한국이 미국의 대전략을 따르는 독자적으로 강한 독자를 내야 되는 시점이라고 봅니다. 그래서 한국 국민들이 수합하여 담대한 결정을 내야 되는 시기가 아닌가라고 보는 겁니다. 그래서 미국과의 협력을 유지할 때 군사적 유연성, 다른 나라의 전익 공격이라든가 군사 비용을 이용해서 국자적인 기술을 내야 될 것이 아닌가라는 눈치로 발표를 하고 있습니다. 그래서 이런 내용이 지금 의미를 갖고 얘기하고 있다는 것을 참고로 말씀드리고 10시 10분까지 해야 되기 때문에 양해를 줘서 간략히 해보겠습니다. 그러면 영어로 We are very fortunate to have two respected scholars with us, and we will be showing the policy recommendations on improving inter-Korean relations. It's truly an honor for me to moderate this session. My name is Dr. Byung-Chul Kang. My research has been focused on inter-Korean relations and maritime conflict. This afternoon, each speaker will have about 10 minutes for their presentation. After both talks, we will move straight into an open Q&A discussion, since we don't have designated discussants. We will take questions directly from the audience, and our speakers will respond. First, I'd like to introduce Dr. Bernhard Zeliger, representative of Hans Zeidel Foundation Korea Office. Please give him a big round of applause to welcome him. Dr. Zeliger will speak on from hostile coexistence to peaceful coexistence, and why the goal of unification still matters. Sharing his evaluation and outlook on changes in inter-Korean relations. Our second speaker is Dr. Navinder Singh. He will present on the time for Korea first policy on reconciliation with North Korea. Please give him a warm round of applause as well. Just a quick note on timing. We need to keep things on schedule. So if our presentation goes beyond 10 minutes, I'll step in firmly so we can move to the next speaker. Thanks for your understanding. With that, let's begin by hearing from Dr. Bernhard Jaib.
Kam Byung-Chul, thank you very much for the kind introduction. Do you hear me? I want to say, first of all, thank you for inviting me here. I was really admiring our former panel. I learned a lot from them, and I saw them talking while we were eating. Isn't that horrible for them? But they did very well. So they set the ground already and discussed many things, so we can keep to a few key points. And I want to make 5 points mainly here. The first one, when North Korea in 2023 said, we don't want any more unification, it was a real shock. It was a shock for Professor Son, probably for Dr. Kang, and for me and many others, but it was a virtual shock. Because if you ask any Korean on the street, any South Korean, North Korea wants unification, North Korea doesn't want unification, so what? For most people, it didn't mean a big thing. But for us, for specialists, for those who have North Korea in their heart, it meant a big thing. Because it was so radical. In North Korea, when they said they don't want unification anymore, one of the first things they dismantled the unification monument. They had a lot of maps of the Korean peninsula. They just chiseled out, they just destroyed the lower part of South Korea. So all of South Korea is not there anymore. And I think when they now build a new museum, which is in the making, National Museum, it will be a museum only for North Korea. For us it was a shock, but for the normal people not. So it was a virtual shock in a way. And it was a shock for the North Koreans. I have not many North Koreans, and I had met many North Koreans. 2 of them I consider my friends. And one was a long time abroad, and I could talk to him. And in the beginning he always said, yeah, it's only a phase. So probably he talked about no more unification, but it will change. But later they became really concerned when it was forbidden for them to discuss anything with the South Koreans. That happened before, but that they suddenly couldn't talk about unification anymore, which was so deep in the North Korean education system. That was a shock for the North Koreans. And the second point, you have not a lot of influence. Whatever you do, you tried out many policies. Sunshine policy, more or less hardline stance, then again the policy of Moon Jae-in, very, very accommodative. Then Yoon Suk-yeol, tit for tat, you said if they make a parade, we make a parade. If they send drones, we send drones. If they say nasty things, we say nasty things. It didn't improve the situation, but it also didn't make it a lot worse. North Korea is pretty independent from you. It was similar in Germany. Naturally, there was a difference. Sometimes under Sunshine policy, under Moon Jae-in's policy, there were meetings, and sometimes if they were not there was no meeting. But the basic decision to renounce unification has nothing to do with your policy. It has all to do with your success. Sorry, but you are too successful. Korea is too rich, it grew too fast, and it shows, not in a bad way, I mean, it just is a normal free country. It shows we are free, we travel all the world, we are rich. That is something the North Koreans cannot have. Because every North Korean will immediately see, if there is unification, there can be only one unification, the South Korean. The basic idea when both countries wanted unification was we are in a competition. The one wants a unification as a market economy, as a democracy, and the other wants a unification as a communist system or socialist system, or as a, let's say, as a system focused on the Kim family now. But that doesn't work anymore when one country is so successful and the other not. So, though your policy sometimes strengthens the trend or took some chance away. I personally was not a great fan of the last government's policy. It was too much, I think, of this outward aggressiveness. But anyway, the decision not to pursue unification has nothing to do with that. But North Korea recognized it cannot compete with it. And the third point then, if you think who is the generation unification? It is, we often here in the South we talk of 통일교육, and it's a good thing, and I know Professor Sohn for a long time worked for that, and our forum here is a kind of 통일교육. We have had a Tongil Academy for young people, we had a lot of meetings, we had 10 good seminars here. So it's important to remember and also to prepare for unification. But you are not the ones who call the shot. You are not the one who will, in the end, bring unification. Maybe you need it, your politicians, if you have good ones, like we had in Helmut Kohl. But the one who will demand unification, that are the North Koreans. Because for the North Koreans it means so much. It means freedom of speech, no more suppression. They can wear their hairstyle as they want, as Dr. Sohn or as me or as you. Nobody tells them you wear this hairstyle, you don't say this word, you don't do this and don't do this. And you can travel freely, you can express yourself, you can also get rich. It's also important, it's not the only point. So this is a very important point, that the people in the North will always want unification if they see and know how successful South Korea is. You can help them. I think you can make them more comfortable. And if you look how the Kalbokcha or the Sekamin, whatever you call them here, are treated, it's not always good. They not always feel comfortable here. It should be in a way that you say, when somebody comes, there's so few coming, but those people who come, we really try to help them integrate in society. It's very difficult because they are so different from you, and the gap is in a way widened. Then there's the fourth point, the international situation. I personally thought before the Ukraine war is ended, the aggression in Ukraine, we have few chances to improve any situation with North Korea. Because in the moment North Korea gets from Russia plus China everything they want. They get international recognition. Even Putin coming to Pyongyang, so many ministers of Russia went to North Korea. Do you know why? The minister for disaster management, for education, for environment, 3 times already, and this and that minister. You can ask, is North Korea so attractive? It's not because they are so attractive, but the Russians cannot travel anywhere else. There's very few places in the world where they are welcome. In North Korea they are. So in the moment the North Koreans feel really happy with the Russians. That will change when the Russians are not anymore interested in the North Koreans. And the North Koreans are only important for Russia because they held their war. If the war ends, it changes. Now I would have said the Americans see that and probably will not do anything before the end of the war, but I'm not so sure. Because I saw there's something, I don't know if you ever heard about it, there's something called poly market. That's a political market where you can bet on political events. And I saw in the last week the poly market chance of North Korea and the US meeting this year, maybe when Trump comes for APEC, jumped from 2% or 3% to 24%. So maybe something is in the making. I believe in markets of the economy. So who knows? Maybe there's something going up, but I think a successful restart of negotiations can only happen when Russia is out of the play. And the last point now, I had a very nice conversation with Isha Nim, and we discussed what is so difficult or different in Korea. And here I come to policy implementation. The problem, in Germany, we also were fighting about unification. It was not a, now we look back and we see, oh, it's a very close way. Western integration, Ostpolitik, détente, and in the end unification. But but for the people in the field, it was a struggle. Franz Josef Strauss, who came from our side, let's say from the conservative, he hated Ostpolitik, and he went to the Constitutional Court, and he said, we don't want that, we want a unified Germany, not two states. And the court did a wise decision, they said, no, Ostpolitik is okay, but the ultimate goal of unification should still be in place. So that saves, in a way, the way to easy unification, because without that, we wouldn't have had the provisions in our constitution also to admit each other. That was very good. And what also was important, we didn't completely change everything. So Adenauer said we first need to integrate in the West, NATO and EU, or EC that time, European communities. When the Social Democrats came to power, which were against this policy, they didn't say we changed everything, but they said, okay, these are decisions which have been made, and now we add our flavor of policy, that's Ostpolitik. And when then the conservatives came to power again, 1982, Helmut Kohl, he didn't say, okay, finally we can change Ostpolitik, but they said, okay, there are treaties we have to preserve, pacta sunt servanda, an old Latin word, we have two treaties, we sign them as a state, not as a party, and then we have to fulfill them, but we will again say it's important to think of unification, it's important to stay alert. We have a State of the Nation talk, and we have a care for human rights. And I'm now finishing. What I want from you, please stay alert, but find some compromise. Here it is Zig and Zag and Zag, and now we are in the Zig again on the left side. Some of these people here hate it, I know it. And then we go to the right side again. That doesn't work. Find a straight way. You are a great nation, but for that you have to find a great consensus. I know it's very simplified, but I enjoy discussing it for so many years with you. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much. 아까 앞서 말한 대로 이게 통일을 원하지 않는다는 대답을 한 사람들이 많이 일어나고 있는 상황이고, 근데 실질적으로는 통일을 원하든 원하지 않든 이것이 국가 정책에 큰 영향을 끼치지 않는다는 겁니다. 그렇지만은 북한이 통일을 원하지 않는다고 말하는 것은 한국이 잘 살고 압도적으로 그렇게 성장했고, 통일이 되면은 한국형으로 나라가 운영될 것을 알기 때문에 이렇게 하고 있다는 거고, 통일을 준비해야 된다. 그리고 지금 국제적으로 이 우크라이나 전쟁 이런 데 개입하면서 러시아나 중국의 지원을 더 받고 북한이 영향을 받고 있다는 거죠. 근데 이런 그 상황에도 어쨌든 이 대화를 유지해야 되고 통일을 준비해야 된다. 이런 아까 앞서 말한 이런 의지로 발표를 하셨습니다. 이 시간이 없는 관계로 지금 하고 싶은 말을 다 못하셨을 거고, 다음으로 넘어가서 시간이 없기 때문에 남더 신 박사님의 발표를 듣도록 하겠습니다. 플리즈.
First of all, I want to thank organizers for having me. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very happy to share my views on education. This is Indian perspective, so it will be different from my different perspective. Very new idea how I look at it, the whole problem. And as you know, when President Lee was elected, everybody was expecting that now the process can start again. But everybody was shocked when North Korea declared no, they are not interested. So, in the middle, politicians come to power, North Korea showed a lot of interest. But this time, that suddenly something unexpected happened. So I was thinking, why North Korea is not showing any more interest in the peace process? What is the reason? Then I came to the conclusion, maybe it's only change of leadership, change of societies, basic structure of peace process is same. Why? Before President Lee was expected, he was thinking fundamental shift in his foreign policy. But when he was elected, because of geopolitics reasons, he once again tilted towards GSC. So his expected tilt towards China, towards North Korea didn't happen. So North Korea was shocked that this is the same. Only humans have changed structure of peace structure through which peace structure was not changing. So, and when not President Lee declares European policy, all was very shocked. His policy just symbolism, nothing new. He says, okay, first let's create, then let's reduce, let's demolish. There's nothing new that is said so many before. So we were not expecting that this kind of proposal, which was not serious at all. Nobody, not even us, was expecting North Korea to accept this kind of non-serious proposal. So it makes a lot of sense from our perspective that Mr. Lee is not serious, just playing to the gallery, just trying to do it for the public consumption. There's no serious substantial approach for North Korea. I think if North Korea or South Korea really want to deny it, you have to create new peace structure, new peace process. For that, you have to decouple South Korea's unification policy and reconciliation policy from USA's denuclearization policy. USA is one country, South Korea is one country. They are not one country. Their interests are different, geopolitical perceptions is different. So you cannot tag them together. So far, we feel that because of this tag is so close, so tight, there's no possibility for South Korea to maneuver, to make some initiative. So that's why we think again and again for the last 80 years, this process comes to some state collapse, Because same, USA decide what happened, what did not happen. But USA is not interested in peace unification. To think of the denuclearization, but it's not from geopolitics of the whole world. Their perspective is different from South Korea's perspective. So I have come to the conclusion now as President Trump is following USA first policy, time has come for Korea also. Think Korea first policy. It means you have to think about unification, your own peace process. Only then you can think of reasonable success in your unification policy. As you know, USA has its own interest. USA is not thinking Korea as a kind of another country, fellow country. For them, it's just one of the many partners in the world. Now, as you know, USA is asking too much from USA recently. So much trade concession, so much budget sharing, so much strategic flexibility, so much control on nuclear energy control. This is too much. It's not becoming a true partner. We feel that if USA is really a true partner of South Korea, they should not put this kind of condition. They should know what kind of economic condition in South Korea is. South Korea is under serious economic strain, serious democratic crisis. South Korea is not South Korea 10 years ago. Now South Korea is having a very serious economic crisis, very serious democratic crisis, and very serious social crisis. A lot of bad things are happening in South Korean economy, South Korean society, and South Korean politics is highly divided. There's no unity. So if USA is a really true partner, they should understand the ground situation in South Korea, and they should come forward. And let USA, let the South Korea lead the peace process. But South Korea, USA don't care. They keep pushing their own demands. In trade, in security, in politics, in nuclear energy, everywhere. They have no idea to accommodate South Korea's strategic interest, South Korea's economic interest. If USA not care, South Korea, why should South Korea care? We have to think. You are a sovereign country. You are an independent country. Why do you have to plan all the time? Now, time has gone when South Korea was economically viable country. Now, South Korea's economic situation is very bad. On the contrary, North Korea's situation is improved, politically as well as economically. Now, 10 years ago, North Korea was an isolated country. Not anymore. Now, North Korea has China. South Korea has Russia. They are getting a lot of energy from Russia. They are getting a lot of support from China. They are not looking at the sexual relief from South Korea. No, not anymore. Situation has changed. Now, South Korea needs unification. Because we have done a study which shows that unification of Korea at this stage helps South Korea more than North Korea. So, you have to take seriously. Because crisis is coming, social crisis is coming, economic crisis is coming, security crisis is coming. So you have to start thinking how to survive the coming crisis. Korean politics is not talking about but it's there. Data is there. Economic growth has stopped, almost going to stop. Social crisis is very serious. We have to start thinking what should we do now? We have to come forward with a new unification proposal. Because unification will help Korea multiple ways. Very security wise, economic wise, humanitarian wise, very useful. So I have come to the proposal that we have to propose. So here's my policy. What should South Korea do? One, you must spread dialogue, peace process. Deregulation, one thing. Unification, one thing. You should not mingle them. You should not tag them together. Both deregulation as well as peace process can go together simultaneously. But don't try to integrate them. Don't try to tag them. So because deregulation is a American idea. It's not a South Korean idea. South Korean deregulation, South Korean motherland. Look, Korea must be united first. So you don't try to tag them, but you are still trying to tag them. So every time they ask more and more, people will collapse. So first thing you have to make sure that the two processes go separately, not go together. Second thing you have to do, you have to all the economic agreements you sign should not be disturbed because there is disturbance in the politics or geopolitics or some other things. So economic cooperation will go independently. It should be independently. It should not have to sign an agreement. Some projects, that's something happened, geopolitics happened, everything collapsed. No, it should not be like that. Whatever is achieved, is achieved. It should be permanent achievement. The Jason project collapse. It's very bad. It's not the way you do. So all one company, one government collapse. How can you do again and again? So my proposal is that whatever achievement is made by one government, it should be kept. You should have to go over that. What's happening now? One government achieves something, other government collapse. This has to stop. Number two, you have to stop. I did not just ask you for South Korea should participate in China and Taiwan. No. South Korea is not that big country. South Korean interest, geopolitical interest, political interest is very different now. Yes. So you have to make a very strict position. No, you don't want to go to Taiwan, you don't want to go to South China Sea. Until you don't do it firmly, South Korea, yes, keep asking for you. Another thing most important is that you don't have to define education policy in terms of USA. No, you have to find the education policy as just a random need of Korean people. Education is for Korean people, not for USA. So you have to define education as a survival tactics, survival necessity, survival imperative. Until you don't find it, Korean people don't understand. Some people will not understand why you have to pay so much for education. So you have to communicate with young people. You have to communicate with the whole generation. Communication is very important. You know, you can learn something else. Some important lessons from Germany. In Germany, when they started peace process, they didn't consult USA. They started their own, you know, they achieved a lot of things without consulting USA. So, same was the case in Vietnam. Vietnam also started peace process. They didn't consult Russia. They got the cooperation with China, with USA on their own. Same thing you have to do. You have to work relationship with China, with USA, with North Korea on their own. Not consult too much. Not feel so much deep that every time you do something, you go to USA. Not good. Not good. Church is very bad. I'm telling you, this strong strategic imperative to go forward on their own. Time has come, then we have to assert yourself. When USA can say, Africa first, why you can't say Korea first? So, my proposal is that time has come, we should decouple South Korea denuclearization policy from South Korea because only then you can achieve some substantial success. Thank you.
남북 관계는 생존의 문제이고 미국하고 협의하면서 남북 관계를 개선하려면 한계가 있다는 관점에서 독일이 동방정책을 펼칠 때 독자적으로 동독과의 교류 협력을 했지 미국한테 자문을 구하면서 하지 않았다는 겁니다. 그래서 베트남 같은 경우도 강대국이 전략에도 불구하고 통일을 이루었다는 점을 강조하면서 이 두 나라의 사례에서 보고 배워서 그런 미국과의 동맹 관계를 유지하지만 이게 제한적으로 한미 동맹에서 전략적 유연성 문제라든가 방위 분담이 과도한 층에 그런 것에서 떠나서 한국의 독자적인 적어도 북한과의 관계에서는 독자적으로 할 수 있어야만 되지 않냐 이런 교훈을 보고 지금 이 생존의 문제나 생존의 문제라는 걸 한국 공통의 목소리로 이런 관계를 발전시키는 것을 두 분 다 말씀하셨는데 남북 관계가 좋고 나쁠 수 있는데 통일을 이뤄야 된다는 이 취지는 변치 말고 노력을 해야 된다는 취지로 말씀하셨습니다. 지금 시간이 다 되어서 종합 토론을 할 시간이 다 되어서 제가 프로의 질문을 받을 계획이었는데 질문 받고 답할 시간은 질문 받을 시간은 안 되는 것 같아서 이 정도 선에서 세션 마치도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 안녕하십니까. 제일 중요한 제3부 Q&A 종합 토론 시간입니다. 여러분들 앞에 패널 5분이 발표하신 패널 분들하고 방금 2분하고 해서 총 패널 분들에서 발표하신 내용에 대해서 다른 의견이나 질문사항이 있으면 질문 위주로 해주시기 바랍니다. 자기 주장보다